0 codes found, which means everything seems to be okay. So there's no faults on the gun. That's it, huh? We know everything and nothing. We had a little bit of rain last night. Anyway, after yesterday's fiddling and farting, the glass on the window now drops even further than before. This is manual, obviously. Removed the inside panels. Have removed that whole drive unit. The drive unit obviously responsible for winding the window up and down. If you look in there carefully, there's a cable hooked in there with a little button, and there's actually meant to be one in there, which you can't see. So one assumes that the wind up or the wind down, because they're obviously going to go in different directions, one is snapped. When undoing these, 2 of the heads snapped off as well. So this piece needs replacing in any case. I ordered a new winder unit, which works on the other side. Of course, you can see there's no access. You have bolts that bolt in from the other side everywhere, but you can't get to. So guess what Volkswagen did? They created a system where this comes off, this whole strip, and on the other side, if you look carefully, you'll see a bunch of Torx bolts. All of these Torx bolts need to be unbolted to get to supervisor. To get to, and underneath as well, you'll see bolts everywhere. Let me find them, get focus on them. This is it. They're everywhere. So you have to unbolt all of that and ultimately undo the door lock and handle, take all of that off, and then the whole door skin actually comes off. That whole skin comes off in one, and you end up with just the frame. At that point the glass will fall out because it is disconnected at this point, as you can see. Hopefully at that point all the parts that we've ordered will fit in there once disassembled. It's this crazy stupid thing. If you did it through a dealership, you're probably going to end up at about £400 to fix that. But that's modern motoring for you. They build these things in such a way that nobody can do nothing. So what has the Amazon man brought? Big smile? Who knows? I'll just cut it for the sake of the film. Get rid of that. Open the box. There's another box. George will be impressed with this, obviously. George likes a box, if you noticed. We've built him a castle. And he loves every one of those boxes. This is his suburb of thing. Let's see what we've got in this box. Right. Some plastic. But there you go. That is the winder mechanism. With that extra plate down there. Obviously, you have to dismantle half the car to get it fitted. But hopefully after this we'll have at least a repaired door winder mechanism. £30 of Amazon, waiting at the moment for today's delivery, which will be will be the central locking module as well, because that may or may not be wrong. At least one can replace them, or not replace them, should I say return them, if we find that the one that's there is working. But the most important thing will be hopefully to try and get the windows to go up and down. And then if the central locking is buggered, then replacing that might even then correct the original issue with the parasitic rain. But I had the battery tested yesterday and everything seemed fine. The guy that tested it for various things, cranking power, etc., and everything is well within parameters. So the battery's good, but we know there's something somewhere chomping away quietly in the background. Hopefully it is the central locking and this mechanism that was broken. But yeah, we'll see that later on today. Just waiting for Amazon to drop off the next box. You want to be in my film, in my video, my YouTube? Say hello, YouTube. Thank you. You get the bare feet as well. Cool. Are we happy? Who's this? That's Stephen. Yeah, okay. Stephen's here. This is Bara.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we have a box delivered by Amazon, which says whatever. Manufacturer, Hong Kong. German car built in China. Anyway, let's open this thing and see what we got. So this is the central locking motor module. In fact, it doesn't include the motor. That's interesting. It's different to the one that I thought it was, but it's not. So this obviously fits inside of the door by the handle somewhere. Never seen anything like this. But I'm sure that between Bart and I will figure this out. Let me pull my trousers up because they're always down on my ankles. Right. Bart is behind the camera, so if it's a shit film, we know who to blame. But I don't think we're going to blame him for anything. To replace the actual electric winder cables, this mechanism that pushes the glass up and down, it runs off a pair of steel braided cables that are activated inside of a little gear and a cam type system. This is snapped, so that's just old age. You can see the rust, so simplistically water gets to it eventually. That's part one. Part two, I've just found a piece here that is probably part of the system that I snapped the other day, or maybe not. But anyway, that's more of that. To get to all of this, you've got to remove the crash bars in the door. Volkswagen have been assholes. I mean, sorry, did I say that out loud? They've added Torx. It's not even a Torx, it's a different system altogether over there with multiple serrations. I don't know what they are. And just normal, probably about a 13mm bolt on this side, a nut that's fixed in there. So this has to come off. Then you take the glass off and then you replace the actuator. We're also going to look at the central locking because central locking seems to be non-functioning. So hopefully we'll replace that, which is hidden somewhere. It's indoors in the car. Let me just bring that out. Okay, so for £30, Amazon will send you a new one made in China. That's your whole mechanism, the door mechanism with the striker, which obviously fits in there somehow. This way around, I believe, would be the way. Plug in from underneath for the, not just the power source, but all the sort of demands and commands that come through there. So we're going to test this versus that, because I think that there's something wrong inside there as well, because it hasn't been working properly. Before I get to that, the last thing to point out is the door skin, which, as you can see, this is very clever, but it's not clever, if that makes sense, because it's a pain in the ass. But I've never replaced an electric motor, so according to a friend of mine who works for VW, he reckons this is the best idea. I'm not so sure, but hey, I'm not a mechanic. This is where your car's going to rust. You see all the gunk sitting in there. That started rusting on that end already. If I was going to keep this car for 20 years, I would clean that up and put rust converter on it, but I'm not keeping it for 20 years. If VW did this job, you would down for about £400 as a dealership price. So the next step is to figure out taking that brace off and then disassembling the glass and clean that up while I'm in it. Brace the actuator mechanism, the cables and stuff, which is in the box over here, which I haven't pointed out. This looks like a chassis for a truck, if you were a kid of my age. And that's the new mechanism, which in this case doesn't come with new screws. If you buy some of the other manufacturers, it comes with a whole layout, a plan of how to do everything and reassemble, plus these little screws that hold this together. Those screws, where are they hidden? Let's just see. They go in from the inside. This basically is from the outside. There's 3 screws, but they're self-tapper type Torx self-tappers that go in the plastic. I would have loved to have had new ones, but I don't, because I snapped off 2 of them without force. But that's again part of the job. We'll deal with it as it unfolds. So I guess next job is undo this lot. We'll go back to time lapse. Bart, anything else to add? crash bar's back in, the rails are back in, cleaned the glass, put that back in, bolted down in its rails. We've tested it manually up and down. Everything is together. You can see we had George and Charge on the inside. Had to do a slight bodge because the original screws broke off, but all of this is back together as it should be. Next job will be reassembling the outside steel again and using that sequence of three different styles of little Torx screws. The other thing with the Torx screws is actually they are torqued. Those two top ones are 10, that's 14. The rest of them are 14. That top one there is 10. So there's all of that, but we're not doing that. So yeah, that's hopefully part one done of reassembly. Right, part of the thing is to test before. Run it up a few times and down a few times. Basically, just making sure that everything works as it should. It sounds a bit noisy, but I think that's just as it's settling in. I'm going to drop it one more time, please. Okay. Nice. There you go. 2.5 hours, £30 for the part, and 2 15-minute YouTube videos. But it's done. Back together again.